Boom. Here we go. Laugh again.
Yes,
How
this
you-
is episode number
18.
18. I believe 18. Any like anything comes to your mind when you think of the number 18? For me,
Yes.
okay. Come on.
But I'll let you go first.
Okay, so for me, it's only like 18 is the double of 9, and 9 is my favorite number. So that's it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. For me, it was when I was, because you know how we start to manage and we capture weekly assets, etc. So when I wrote down 18, I was like, wow, we've done something consistently for 18 weeks. And it's only the beginning, right? But it's like, okay, it's the first thing that comes from my head was consistency. So there's going to be 18, there's going to be 36, 54, and there's going to be more, I'm sure.
Regarding consistency and episodes happening weekly, so in autumn I'm going to Krakow in Poland for a big concert by Armin van Buuren, and the concert is organized to celebrate 1000th episode of his weekly show. So for 1000 weeks, so almost 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, he was doing like live radio show every Thursday with like the best picks in trance music. So that's something about consistency, you know.
Interesting. Yeah. It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's like you're in the beginning, you just carry on. But anyway, we don't want to get too carried away by that. Today, we are going to talk about physical health, right? We're going to talk about how the habits in our physical health can be translated into our entrepreneurial venture. Is there anything you want to add to that before we jump onto our habits that we're going to share with people?
Just a small announcement that since last week, now all previous and all future episodes, like of course future episodes will be available, but all previous episodes of the Newborn Hustler show are now available on Spotify and Apple podcast, right? I guess probably on Google Podcast or something like that. It's also available, but I know that there are people mainly using Spotify and Apple. So if you are on either of this platform, just when you are driving your car, when you are at the gym, just tune in and listen to our previous episodes.
Wonderful. Shall we jump into it then?
Yes, let's do it.
Shall we start from you? Your first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one? Okay, I send you my free strategies.
Yeah,
so
in that sequence. Yeah.
Okay, so in that sequence, that's great. Yeah. So first strategy that I would like to start with is that through sports you just learn repetitiveness, you learn discipline, self-discipline. So looking at my case right now, so every morning, almost every morning except for Sundays, because sometimes you just need to have a day off. Every morning I wake up, either it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And the first thing that I do is I'm just getting ready to go to my CrossFit training. So every day I show up to CrossFit training at the same time. And of course, it's not easy. It was not easy at the beginning. It was not easy when, after the pandemia, when I was, when I got used to waking up whenever I wanted, whenever I felt to, because I didn't have any, let's say, time scheduled commitments. But, it also puts a lot of order in your life, I would say. So if your life is disorganized, if your life is messy, then starting like great commitment to sports, like do exercising daily and taking it even further by signing up for some organized classes that you need to show up to, then it will put loads of self-discipline and order to your life. Even lately, a few weeks ago you said you had your hard time. So lately I have my hard time. I'm not feeling really well physically, mentally, and even though I wake up every morning and I attend to those classes, and I guess if it wasn't for that workouts every morning, then probably I would be getting up from my bed whenever I felt that I need to, and now I feel like I have to get up in the morning. I have to attend to those classes, otherwise I'm not only letting myself down, but also letting someone else down, because they know that I will be there. So it's also like some very often your self-discipline in business also results in some other people things, let's say. But I also wanted to give you one example, not from my own personal life, but the one that I read in Charles Duhigg book like a year ago. The book name is The Power of Habit, and in this book, Charles brought up a story of a lady. She was addicted to smoking. She was like, maybe light drinker, let's say, and she was in debt also. So she was not a low life, but she was like running, let's say, careless life. And at some point she was on a vacation or something like that, and she started running. And she thought that running is something that she likes, so she started running and she started repeating it. And after some time she quit smoking. She started taking care of her body, and also she also sorted out her life in terms of personally, professionally, you can say, this debt was gone and stuff like that. So as I said, repetitiveness of sports and nutrition, of taking care of your body, will transmit to the order and repetitiveness in your life overall, I would say.
Sounds good. Cool. So for me, my first is different. My first is to set a to relax list for your physical body, and I actually learned this in my journal, actually. So this is my journal, and the most difficult question I have to write down every day is this. I'm not sure whether people can see. Like, can you see it says to relax list?
Okay.
And every time when I get to that section, I struggle. I struggle to write down something that I need to relax. And for me, because I've got so many things going on, and I don't know whether you have had that experience where when you just sort of take a moment to go, just like relax your shoulders and everything, and then suddenly things just become a bit more slowed down. It becomes less tense. And for me, I start to look at how can I find ways to relax my body in that way. So every week, for example, now I go to a stretch class to stretch my muscle out, to just like close my eyes and just feel my body. And for me, in terms of how this translates into your entrepreneurship or how you approach work, is that you need some space to be able to cool down so that you can go further. And I think people don't rest enough. They just keep going. And I think, for me, especially when people comes to the word like hustle, etc. I think the conventional way of thinking about it is just like, just keep working hard, like work hard. I don't know, but that's not my approach. It's like, yes, you want to work hard, but at the same time, how can you do that for a really long term? How can you sustain that? And for me, sustainability comes from, you have to just, for me, by relaxing my body, I'll relax my mind, relax my everything. And I want to get tense again, then I'm actively involved again. So it's a bit like a computer, right? You can't let it run forever. Even though it's well built, it can do the calculation and everything correctly, but it needs to shut down. It needs to restart. It needs to rest. It needs to have the screen down, lock it, etc. So for me, a challenge I start to give myself is, how can I integrate more of this to relax routine to my routine every day or every week or every month. So I used to do sports massage every month, for example. For me, that's a way of relaxing my body. And I walk away, I feel fresh, and I go again. So for me, having that principle will then translate into the way that you approach other things in life, because then you will start to know that you can't just have one thing after the other. You have to find some breathing space, clear some mind space, and then you can think about things and you can go again. So that's my first one.
Yeah, like like I can see the point in sports, I can see this analogy between sports and business. Like in sports, you need some regeneration time, right? Because otherwise, like even if you are like, let's say, Mr. Olympia, or even if you are Matt Frazier, who is, who won multiple times CrossFit Games, and these people still need regeneration time, just to to do nothing, to sleep well, to spend some time with the close ones, disconnect from what they do. And that's the same in business. You need to regenerate your mind. You just need some time off.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Your second?
great. My second, yes. Yeah, doing extra work on things you don't like. In sports lately, for me, the such a thing was running, I would say, which can be surprising because people who know me, they might think that, yo, dude, but you love running. You run half marathon, you run full marathon, you were running this crazy distances in full snow, -10, -15 degrees during winter. Uh, Actually, I'm addicted more to the adrenaline, not to running. Like running half marathon, running full marathon is great adrenaline. I don't like doing like 5Ks, let's say in spring or summer, when or maybe summer would be like kind of not in favor conditions, but during spring, 5Ks, oh yeah, it's easy. But actually, it's a topic for another strategy. But so never mind. But yeah, so doing extra work on things you don't like. People always don't like rowing, air bike, running, burpees, or something else in CrossFit. So what I do, I'm trying to do some extra work after workout. So if you do, or maybe try to do something extra hard during main workout. So for example, lately I can see that I'm pushing even more with burpees because I fucking hate burpees, right? So it's the same in my business. If I don't like something, sometimes I just push harder with this one task I fucking hate, so that I become more fluent in it. Because when you become more fluent in it, because very often we don't like things we are not fluent in. So sometimes you just need to push harder to become fluent in something, and then you start liking it. So that's my strategy. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's definitely clear for me. Like being in sports, and actually, what you just said coincidentally link with the second thing that I was going to
Okay.
in, which is don't be complacent with training routine. I did think to myself like, oh, you're going to cover that. Shall I say the same thing, or shall I just like pull out? But actually, I believe it as much as you do. That's why it's our top 3, right? So I thought, you know what? If it's along the same lines, we will just supplement it, and I had the same, right? So I have been training for 4 years, 5 years maybe, but I don't look like I've trained for 4 years and 5 years. And so, for example, when you look on social media, some people are really fit, etc. And then you're like, oh, how long have you been in the gym? They're like, oh, 2 years. And then I would go, oh shit, like I'm not in that shape, even though I've trained longer. So anyway, that's a comparison bit. But where I was coming from was that I got to a point where, because I trained the same routine every time, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, I know exactly which time I'm going to train, what exercise I'm going to do. I just got to a point where I realized that, you know what, there must be more that I haven't explored yet. So for example, I wasn't doing enough deadlifts. I wasn't doing enough squats. I was trying to get away from it. And then I thought, you know what, if I want to get to the next level, I cannot stay where I am. And I think it's that mentality, like, I don't like deadlift. I don't like squats, like, man, and my legs hurt. But I cannot stay complacent, because if I want to get to the next level, then I have to find a way to break through and then to try something different, right? So like you said, you hate burpees, but you do more of it, right? Like now, I hate squats and I hate deadlifts, but I do more of it. You get training, you get something extra and different. You get accountability, like you just said in your first habit, you have to do it because someone else is doing it, for example. So I think the mindset of not wanting to be complacent in doing the same thing over and over and over again is the point that we want to emphasize, isn't it? So for me, that would be my second habit.
I want to develop your thought, because you said you don't like things like deadlifts and squats. I presume both back squats and front squats, because front squats are more difficult.
Yeah.
And I will, and I'm in training for I guess 4 years, or more or less, like with of course small break because of COVID and the time when I got fat, right? But but the thing is that there are many people out there who don't like deadlifts and squats, because these exercises are very technical. There is loads of technique in those exercises. So loads of people go for some cables, for some just dumbbells. Trying to pump their biceps and stuff like that. Not only because of the looks, it's also because it's easier to do these exercises than do a proper back squat, front squat, deadlifts. And it's the same with business. Very often people are looking for the simplest way to get rich. But what about the hardest way? Why no one is going there? I'm not talking that you should put yourself through some torments in both in training and business, but I'm saying that what I'm saying is that if you want to go far, if you want to be really fit, if you want to be really rich, wealthy — I don't like word rich, I prefer using wealthy — then you need to put yourself through this very technical tasks, exercises. You need to learn them. You need to start performing them really well. Only then you can achieve greatness in whatever you're doing.
Completely agree. I don't have any more to add to that.
What was the what was the sound from your? There was some sound.
It was my landlord's son. I think they just got home, and then he must be shouting like, "I'm super hungry" and all that stuff. So yeah, apologies for that noise.
No worries. Okay,
Yeah.
then it will be my third, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So setting yourself extreme goals. So it's not only about extreme goals; it's more about extreme challenges. Um, because how I would differentiate it in sports, I would say goal maybe is more of you will set goal after another goal, let's say. And with a challenge is that something that you want to do something very extreme, and you want to just get there. It's like you feel that this challenge is like top of what you can achieve, maybe not uh not overall in your life, but right now, let's say. So for me, 2 years ago, running full marathon was a challenge. I had some goal for time, but overall I treated it as a challenge. I wanted to challenge myself mentally. That was the most important thing. And that's what I mean, like challenging yourself constantly in sports, and driving yourself to the situations when you are on the verge of breaking your mentality. It will allow you to build stronger mentality in business as well.
Mm.
Um, like I don't maybe I will use this very colloquial expression that you will grow massive balls. If you do something extreme, then you will grow massive balls that will help you to um, help you in business as well. Of course, you cannot learn how to be smart in smart business smart, but you can build some mentality. Like, let's look at the example of Conor McGregor, right? Besides being amazing fighter, he's an amazing businessman as well. And I can see that he grew his massive balls with fighting, with 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 punching other people so many times, with getting punched so many times. So after so many fights, he can probably, in his mind, he's immortal. So if no one could, let's say, kill him on in the octagon, so who can threaten him, kill him in the business? No one really, right? so
Mm.
so that's I would say. For me, the extreme things that I used to do, for example, was bungee jumping. So very often I'm using this memory of bungee jumping, uh thinking like, okay, I need to do something which is very terrifying for me, but with bungee jumping it was also very terrifying. I just need to make a leap. So sometimes in business you just need to think, okay, I just need to make a leap, you know cut off your fear and make a leap.
Mm. Nice. That's a nice mic drop there. Very good. Yeah. I completely
Thank
get what you mean. And actually, when you were talking about Conor McGregor, I was thinking, actually, when you think about it, there are lots of people who are in like NFL, playing rugby, or footballers or whatever. When they retire, they actually all went off to start a business, and they're all very successful business people. And it might not be a coincidence, because it could be that when they were in sports, they have all the massive balls, like you just said, but the courage, the confidence they've got must have helped them to get to where they are today. Because for them, the competitiveness is there, right? To win, to succeed, to make it work. It's just like sports, really.
Like also, so what I'm thinking also, so the other guy who I'm thinking of as an example of extreme greatness is Michael Jordan, both in sports and business. You know, he's the so looking at both active and retired sports people, he's the richest one on earth, I believe. And you know, he created a brand that is, you know, like the best brand in basketball, and he used to be the best in basketball. No one has ever achieved so much in basketball as he did. So so then he transmitted it to business. No one had ever achieved so much in basketball business as he has.
As he did. Amazing. Cool. My last one is kind of similar to what we were talking about, but for me, it's about finding a personal trainer or a coach or a mentor, however you want to call it. And this is linked to my second one when I talk about not being complacent, was that in my gym, there's this personal trainer. She's very good at CrossFit, right? And I see the way that she trains. I follow her on Instagram, etc. And I just thought to myself that if I want to go to the next level, that's the way that I need to train. Because I know that I don't want to just be one of those guys that you just said, you can go to the gym, do the easy stuff, you build all these muscles. But when time calls for it, you have to run 100 meters or whatever, quick sprint. They might not be able to run, right? Muscle people, like, they might run really slow. So I thought, I don't want to be like that muscle dude. I want to be agile, quick, you know, like a real athlete. And that's why I just walked to her one day. I was like, I've been thinking about it, but I just thought, you know what, just do it. So I went to her, speak to her to say, oh, how does it work? She was like, blah, 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 blah. Came home, went online, book it in. I'm straight in. But because she trains all the squats, all the deadlift, all the front squat, etc., taught me all the techniques, and I realized, oh wow, this is actually quite interesting. Because suddenly I realized that, oh, I used to do back squat, I don't know, for whatever weight that I was doing. I was like, oh yeah, easy. But when she adjusts the position, you're like, oh my God, I feel like I was going to drop off or I'm going to lose balance. So for me, why this is important is that personal coach or mentor or trainer or whatever, if you work with people, you learn from people who knows what they're doing, they're able to point out the blind spots that you don't see when you're in it. And I think that's so important. That can accelerate your growth so much quickly. For example, the hour I spent with her will probably save me 3 hours of watching YouTube or learning how to squat or whatever. And there's someone to physically help me to say, oh no, don't do this, do that, etc. And the same applies to business, right? Like, you know, you're in marketing. I love marketing as well. So I would go and listen to how people do marketing, you know, what things work. And you will realize that what actually applies at work, textbooks doesn't teach you that anymore. Textbooks is very old school marketing. And when you look at social media, it's like, well, where's the social media chapter in my textbook? It's not there. So I think learning from someone who knows what they're doing and has results, and I think that's very important. Learn from them. Yes, you might spend a bit more money because it's like one-to-one coaching, etc. But it can genuinely accelerate your growth so much more. And for me, that's a key thing. That's my third habit.
Yeah, just one more thing that I wanted to tell you about. So a situation from my CrossFit box, because all workouts for all trainings for my CrossFit classes are created, scheduled, wrote down by one coach from this box. And I'm always laughing that he's treating us hard and stuff. And so I asked him, like, Christopher, do you also write plans for yourself? And he said, no, I have someone else to write plans, workout plans for me, because you will never go as hard on yourself as someone else will. So I'm thinking that I can't tell you about, coach, mentor for business, because I don't have one now. I'm a bit skeptical when it comes to business coaches, but I'm. I hope that in the next 2 years I will find some. I will find a mentor. I hope that I will meet my business mentor, because I see more, let's say, value in mentoring than coaching. I would I would like someone to, someone who is, I'm here, this person is here, and I'm like, oh shit, I have this and this problem in my business. Probably you haven't had the same problem in your business, but from your own experience, what would you like to advise me in that situation?
Interesting. And that's why I actually did write personal trainer. That was deliberate, because I completely get what you're saying. But I think I agree with you, the word like coach or whatever has been so abused, in my opinion, that people just think it's abuse, but actually there is value. It's just, it hasn't been positioned properly. That's why, I don't care whether we call it a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a trainer, whatever words resonate with, people who are watching. But the point is that this person has to be a few steps ahead of you, and they have shown results. And you don't want people who are just bullshitting the way to make things sound nice and pretty, but they need to be that they must have done it to be able to lead you the way. So for example, like in my personal trainer with this, with my training, she gives me the weights, but I know that it's because if she was to do the same thing, she can do the same thing, but heavier. And I was like, okay, fine, I will do that. So you want people and I guess that's where you're coming from, right? Is that you want people who are there, has got proven results to be able to help you, rather than pay for some, don't know where this coach comes from.
Business wise, of course, but at the same time, I used to have another personal trainer who used to who couldn't go as hard as I could, because of the wave difference, right? And probably at some point I was even better than he was in terms of conditioning, stamina. But still he had more knowledge about how human body works, how to write down workout plans properly, etc., etc. But also you have to remember that. That's my piece of advice to any business coaches out there, because I know that there are more and more business coaches, people who, sorry, but very often they have just few years at corporate and no entrepreneurship experience, and they try to make makeovers for some businesses. Maybe some of them are successful and good for them, but I guess there are probably some who are not so successful. But what I want to say to both successful and unsuccessful business coaches out there, be honest with your client and honest with yourself. And if you see a point when you can give no to little help to your client, just tell them to find someone on another level. Because that's what my personal trainer said at some point to me. He said, Daniel, you are too good at the moment for me to continue training you. And I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. But then I realized that, okay, yeah, I want to make another step. So he's doing me like a big favor, telling me like, okay, go find someone else who is on another level, who will take you to another level, and And I don't see a big problem with business coaches having maybe let's say not enough experience to help someone with business. I believe they can help someone with business, but it's about honesty, whether they can really help someone with business. Because if sorry, I just want to give one more sports analogy. I know I'm talking there during this episode, but I have one more great analogy. If Julian Nagelsmann, the next season coach of Bayern Munich, this is one of those coaches that didn't who didn't have amazing football career himself, can go and coach players like Robert Lewandowski, Joshua Kimmich, Thomas Müller, who is World Cup winner from 2014, then I believe business coaches who don't have such great experience can go and coach CEOs at big companies.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to really step up for this role, you know.
Yeah,
Both
and you have
Julian Nagelsmann and this business coach, they need to step up for this role. They need to really figure it out how they can help them to become better.
And I can't remember exactly, but I remember when I watched a Netflix video, Mourinho can't really kick football, right? But he also coaches a team. Is it correct?
Mourinho started as a translation assistant for Louis van Gaal.
I think so.
So in the 90s, Mourinho was employed as a translator at Barcelona, I believe, for Louis van Gaal. But then he went on, coaching himself. He won Champions League with Porto. He won Champions League with Inter Milan. He won, English Premier League with Chelsea, I believe, 2 or 3 times. So he did he win Spanish La Liga with Real Madrid? Maybe. I don't remember. But yeah, he was a coach for many big clubs, even though he probably never played football on professional level himself.
Exactly. But the whole point is that you have to be able to deliver the results for the client. And when you know you can't, I like how you say, be honest. Right? Like just tell them to say, you know what, I probably can't help you, and I suggest that these are the sources. Go learn from them because I know that they can help you with the results. But don't be there and I don't know. Yeah, I just agree with you that when you say it's the results that matter. Yes, you may not have the experience, but you do have the knack of working out people's problem and help them resolve it, get them the results that they want. That's fair. I think that's fair enough. But don't be that and be dishonest about that and then just like scraping people's money off. And I think that's not the right way to position it. We can talk about honesty in a different episode. I think that's a great topic to dig into.
Honesty is amazing topic because it's one of the main principle that is driving my life actually. So yeah, but never mind. Let's finish for tonight because I think that we found an amazing topic for us. We can talk about sports and business for hours. So unfortunately, we are a bit limited by the time. Of course, we can go off limit, but we don't want to bore you too much. So thanks to everyone who showed up tonight. And remember to follow us on the Newborn Hustlers. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, to follow or subscribe. I don't know what's the button in English, on Spotify to our show. So if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify.
Yeah, amazing. Same time next week, and we'll be here.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See you. Goodbye.